Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Woodin, and I'll be your host. We have another very informative show for you today. Our single guest today, is from the American Legion. We have Jim LaCourciere. Jim he's actually been a man of many hats. He's been a past department commander for the American Legion. And for those that don't know what department, that's the state commander. And he's also gone up to be the past national vice commander. Jim, welcome to the show.
Chuck, it's a pleasure to be here again.
It's a pleasure to have you. You know, the viewers don't know the history. We've been back and forth between weather.
Three strikes,
yeah. I'm glad we were able to make it today. The last time you were feeling under the weather, and today I'm feeling a little under the weather.
You got it from me,
so have to bear with me today. Jim, tell us a little bit about your service. What branch did you serve in, and roughly the era?
I served in the United States Air Force during the Grenada-Lebanon conflict and everything, 81 to 83. I spent, after basic training in Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio, I was stationed in Valdosta, Georgia, at Moody Air Force Base, which is a small tactical air command base, and I handled the air evac system for our sick and wounded.
Well, I got to tell you, on behalf of the viewers, on behalf of the crew here at the Veterans Corner, we want to thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
Let's get right into this. We're going to talk about the American Legion family today. The American Legion is so large. Well, actually, it's the world's largest veteran.
The world's largest veteran service organization.
What's the makeup of the American Legion family?
The actual family, what we call family of the American Legion, your typical family is a mother, father, and the children of them. What we refer to as the American Legion family is the American Legion, the veterans who served, the American Legion Auxiliary, which is the spouses and the mothers, and going through the ancestry tree that way. We have the Sons of the American Legion for the sons and grandsons, and et cetera, going through the family tree. And we also have a fourth entity which actually pulls the whole family together, and that's the American Legion Riders. And that's actually a fun program of the American Legion family.
Fairly new.
It's actually been around now for about 16, 17 years. It actually first started in Michigan. I started the first chapter here in Connecticut, which I'm just reaching the 13th year anniversary. 2003 is when I first started the first chapter here in Connecticut.
I say fairly new, and it's time
been
flies.
Around for a while.
Time flies.
Yes.
It seems like yesterday.
Yes.
Why do you consistently reference the American Legion family? What's the importance of making sure that you're saying the family?
Because it actually is a family, and we want to reach out to the families. The problem a lot of people have when they sit back and they hear about the American Legion, they hear the old wives' tales, that it's just a drinking establishment or a bar, where the old timers will just hang out and share the war stories. We're trying to change that stereotype and image and allow people to see that it truly is a family-oriented veteran service organization, that we are there to serve the whole entire family, offer programs that we can attract family members. It truly is a family in all respects. It starts with the integral family at home, and we want to bring the whole family in to be a part of our family of the American Legion.
And obviously, when you do bring that whole family in, excuse me, I told you it was going to be a rough one there.
Shame on me, Jim.
I might have gotten it from you a couple weeks ago when you were here. It's very important. The whole aspect. It's when you have all four of them to put together, it certainly makes the organization that much stronger.
It doesn't make them us, the family. It does make us that much stronger. It also gives us a lot more voice as long as we continue to grow our membership family. And when I say voice, I'm talking voice here in the state of Connecticut, and most importantly is in Congress. When we sit back and we share with Congress all the programs and activities and how we give back to our communities, how we give back to our veterans, how we give back. And that's what it's all about. It is our slogan, which you see on a lot of our shirts, states still serving.
Yeah.
To this day, we are still serving, but we're not serving ourselves. We're out there to serve the community, the state, and the nation.
Which is part of the mission statement.
Yes.
Of the American Legion. What are some of the principles and purposes of the American Legion family?
Basically, we hold our ground and take great pride, basically what we call 4 pillars. The first pillar is Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, which the acronym is VA&R,
Yeah.
and that is taking care of our veterans. Right from the youngest veteran returning home, present day, right to the eldest veteran that we have out there. And what can we do to physically and mentally take care of that veteran and take care of their family? Because the family is taken care of if they know that the veteran himself is taken care of. Then we have national security. The American Legion is very big and very concerned about our national defense,
Yeah.
our homeland security, and our national security. Trying to downsize or alter our current defense system and the military systems is unacceptable. At what cost is the United States going to turn around and step back?
Yeah.
And we won't. We will not. We need to stand behind our troops. We need Congress to stand behind our troops. Do whatever it takes to maintain national security and homeland security right here in the U.S. We have children and youth. We're very big on taking care of our children. As a matter of fact, this coming weekend on Saturday throughout the state, we have 6 different sites with what we call the Kids Walk.
Yep.
100% of the proceeds raised from all 6 sites will stay right here in Connecticut for Connecticut's Children's Medical Centers. So poke into ctlegion.org and get more information on there with all the sites. But we have oratorical contests, we have Legion Baseball, we have Boy State, Girl State. We're very big on supporting our scouts, the Sea Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. There's a whole array teaching flag etiquette to the children, going into the schools and teaching them what Veterans Day or what veterans are all about. Then, which ties off of that, is our Americanism, which encompasses a lot of these programs and everything. So you can see it's all family oriented. And
the Kids Walk, you had mentioned that. By the time this airs,
yes,
that will be past. But it's usually the same.
It's an annual event.
It's
It is an annual
it's the
event.
same every year.
It's the second Saturday of April.
Yeah, and it's something that in the past I know we've been trying to increase the numbers to attendees
Yes.
statewide.
Yes.
So maybe before the next one comes around a year from now, we can start this a little bit earlier and we can actually announce that, which would be a good thing. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wanted
basically, that's the key I was trying to get out. I mean, whether it's this year or next year or 2 years down the road, we do conduct the walk for the same cause and the same purpose. We were going to consider dropping it because the numbers weren't there. We brought it back, we kept it going, and now the numbers are sliding back up. So basically, that's us promoting a program that we completely believe in. And that is what we're trying to do as a family with all of our programs. We're trying to promote them and bring out the public awareness. And the only way we can do that is taking it one community at a time. The community where we have a post, letting the community know what we're all about, what we do, what we have to offer.
get the exposure out there.
Yes.
Because obviously, as we all know, that's been lacking in the past. So it's great to get it out in the community, and shows like this to let
Yes.
the viewers know what the American Legion actually does.
Yes.
You mentioned Boy State and Girl State. That comes up every June, right? Is
Yes.
it June?
Yes.
Yeah. There's been some very, very high-profile politicians, individuals in this country that have gone through Boys and Girls State. Presidents, I believe, too. Right?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
So I mean that's a prestigious step for any young man or young woman to go into, and that's always held out at Eastern, right? Eastern.
Currently, it's still being held at Eastern Connecticut State University, yes.
And I believe every high school in the state usually gets some type of notification to their guidance counselor.
They should be.
Yeah,
they should be, right.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, we know that we mail them out to every school,
Yeah.
but whether the schools make them available to the students or not, that we're not aware of. And that's a part, as a family, we want to reach back into our communities, and we should be more proactive ourselves and touch bases with our local schools.
Now, I can't remember, Jim. Are you involved at all with Girls in Boys State at all, or Boys State?
No.
Okay. I was going to ask you a question. I don't know if you. I just wonder the attendance levels. Have they held steady? Have they been dropping? Have they been increasing? I don't know if you know that or not.
That I won't make up an answer if I'm not certain.
Yeah, I'm just curious because it'd be a good thing to see. What types of programs do they have which may be be of interest to families with children?
Well, so I said, depending on the age of the children and also the attraction of our younger veterans coming home, I believe one of the first things we need to do is find out, based on that community, what the athletic event is. The big athletic event in that community. So it may be t-ball, it may be soccer, it may be lacrosse, and I'm talking with the little kids.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to jump in and start sponsoring if possible. If the post can afford to do it, or the family pitches in within that post home and sponsors a season or even a partial sponsorship, to put your name out there and have members go out there and attend their games. So it's basically being involved with athletics. I know my post back in Montville, we're also involved with our middle school, with the choir and the drama clubs. So we started reaching into the elementary and the middle school by being present for their concerts and their productions and everything. And now they show up for our programs as well with the luminaries, and we've gotten active family members using that approach. It's basically every community has a different makeup. So you have to really understand what the makeup is of your community.
Before you can do your approach.
Once you understand your makeup, then you start reaching into your community. And you can take the simplest of things, like I mentioned earlier, where I was talking Americanism and children and youth, with the flag etiquette. It's very simple to go in and take the little booklets, take a small American flag, and present them to the children, and also explain to the children what it's all about and everything. And you can also tie that in Memorial Day or Veterans Day or something like that, but you're bringing out the awareness. We have Halloween safety for kids. We have all different drug awareness programs, for kids. There's all different types of things that we can do. Take Boy Scouts, Eagle Scout of the Year. That's very big. We try to attend the Court of Honors. We want to be there with the family. We want to be there on the Scout's big day and help him celebrate it and present him with various awards and everything, and give him the opportunity to go after a good-sized scholarship on the national level.
It's, as always, I write down a lot of the questions to ask the guests. We were sitting here talking about the kids walking Boys Girls State. I kind of skipped over. What are the? I don't think I hit this one. What are the benefits of being a member of the American Legion family?
Usually people say the cheap tricks, but I won't say that.
Yeah.
It's no, the benefits of the American Legion. We actually have a trifold out there that gives you what we call discount programs.
Yeah.
You can get discounts with hotel stays. You can get discounts with travel, family vacations, car rentals, moving and storage. There's a whole array of those type of discounts. Insurance, eye care, meds, things like that, by showing your American Legion family card.
Yep.
But just by showing, and I'm talking, the benefits, are entitled to the sons, to the auxiliary, and to the American Legion. The biggest benefit, in my opinion, and that's the family aspect. Once again, when you walk into your post home, you're treated like family, or at least you should be treated like family, and you feel comfortable, be able to talk amongst other members of your outside family.
Yep.
And then as you go around the state and everything, to me that's a big benefit. Being a part of something big. I went this weekend with my wife. We went out to the governor's horse guard, the camp over in Avon.
Yep.
They had a military child program out there, and that was absolutely fantastic. It was a breakfast, and then they did arts and crafts and everything else. But I walked out there on a whole different side of the state, and I still see people in National Guard uniforms and Army uniforms, and half the people out there knew me still.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a growing family, So
You build those relationships over the years, especially you, somebody has been in very high-profile positions statewide. So I mean, you do build those relationships, and they stick.
Yes.
They stick. How are you trying to change the stereotype image of the American Legion? We had touched briefly earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to loop back to that then. Try and change the stereotype. That's working with fellow family members and everything of the Legion family, and bringing out the awareness once again. We have to bring out the awareness into the community, into the public eye, that it's not just a bar. Not every single American Legion post, as a matter of fact, has a bar.
Yeah.
So that part I want to make clear. I mean, the bar is not the American Legion.
Yeah.
So I want to make that clear with the general public. If they're considering not joining the American Legion, the bar is a business. It's not the American Legion. The American Legion takes care of the veterans and their families, takes care of the encore of programs that we already discussed. So it's up to us to educate the community. And the only way we can do that is we have to identify what our community is all about. And through that, we've been trying it since 1919, that's how long we've been around. We're gearing up for our centennial. And a lot of people in the community still have that image. When they see an American Legion building, they're still thinking that that's a old-time veterans bar.
Yeah, and that's, I was actually speaking to a Legion post on the Seymour recently. Excuse me. Bless you. And we were talking about the as far as membership and thinking outside the box. You have to in this day and age, because a lot of this generation doesn't want to be. They don't want to join an organization with the bar.
Right.
And how many times do you actually? I mean, you go to communities. I've been to South Windsor. I've been to other locales that have posts that have posts without bars, and you hear it in their communities. So I mean, that stigma has been deeply implanted, and that's something that really needs to be taken care of. There's so many posts. If you're a veteran watching and you've always wanted to join the American Legion, or if you belong to Post 200,
Yes.
I know there's a lot of veterans who belong to Post 200 that want to stay there because they don't want to join a bar, a post with a bar. There's actually more posts out there without than there are with.
Nationally, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, if you want to join a post, there's plenty of them out there
Yes.
that do not have bars. The stereotype, we've got to break that down so we can get the next generation in to secure the future of this organization.
That's what we're striving for. And one of the angles, depending on the location of the post, what their the coordinates are around their building and their structure and layout, is offering and letting them know that they could possibly set up a cyber cafe. So now you're opening it up a little bit more to the community without it being the bar aspect of it. Now you're at least bringing the community into your back door, into your hall, or into a meeting room or something. And even if you just do it 1 or 2 days a week, what we call a cyber cafe, and that's you either have a desktop or a laptop set up with the internet hookup so they can communicate with a loved one serving overseas. And that's a program that works. If you have the land and everything, and you can get the clearance and possibly work with AT&T or Frontier or whoever, and possibly get a small tower put up there, and they will pay you for it monthly. There's all different angles to look at, but as chairman, working with membership statewide and everything, that's the message we're trying to get into all the posts and everything, is to don't promote the bar. The bar is not the American Legion.
Yeah.
And I get irked quite a bit personally, and I'm speaking on a personal level, when people sit back and they're talking about the bar. Unless they're letting me know about a problem, then I want to know about the problem. So maybe I can go in and help curb it or stir it in the right direction. But we need to let people know the good that we do. Yeah. The good completely outweighs the bad. Yeah. It really does.
Unfortunately, it's been overshadowed over the years.
So it's up to us to bring out the
and that's just
good.
not a local thing. That's everywhere.
Nationwide. Nationwide.
Not just in Connecticut. I mean, you traveled throughout the country. I'm sure you've heard it on the West Coast.
The story's the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's. How many times do you sit there? We have so many veterans out in the community who would love to join the American Legion, but they have it in their heads that I've asked so many veterans to join, and the first response would always be, "I don't drink."
Right.
I've gone to organizations, community organizations, and I've asked them to turn around, get on their computer, and punch in legion.org, and then tell me, is that a bar? Right. The American Legion does so many things that I don't think there's many that actually can sit there and write. Even yourself. To sit there and write down everything that the American Legion does would take a while.
Yes, it would. Well, the other big thing that we have here in Connecticut, which has been overseen and handled by the American Legion since 1919, when it first formed, what is the Soldier Sailors Parade Fund?
Yeah.
We're the only state in the nation that has such a program, and that's to take care of our veterans and their families as well. And that's all temporary financial assistance. Along that same line, the American Legion has what we call TFA, which is temporary financial assistance, and that's for the families with children. The financial assistance that we give then is for the well-being of the child, to make sure that the child is properly fed, clothed, and sheltered. In case of an emergency, the auxiliary has the Auxiliary Emergency Fund. The American Legion has a National Emergency Fund, and you turn around and you look at the cases, out west and down south and everything, with the fires and the tornadoes and everything else. There's a lot of good money being spent right now taking care of these people.
You work closely. You work for Soldier Sailors.
I do work for the Soldier Sailors Marine Fund, yes, and it's one job that I get an awful lot of gratitude and satisfaction out of. I don't go home with a throbbing head anymore. I go home knowing on a daily basis that I've made a difference in somebody's life.
It's rewarding.
On a daily basis, yes.
Nowadays, to find a rewarding job is
very hard to find.
Is difficult. Can we talk about that real fast?
Yes, we can.
Where do you work out of?
I 4 days a week I run the New Haven office, which is on the corner of State and Chapel Street, and 1 day a week on Wednesdays I run the Norwich office located in City Hall over there. But so I see a nice array of people, from the small city, Norwich, to the big city, New Haven, and it is a big time difference, because out there in New Haven, I also deal with it and I see firsthand 4 days a week, and that's the veteran homeless population. I physically speak with an awful lot of them on the streets daily.
Unfortunately,
sometimes they come up to my office, and nowadays we also just started 1 day a week for a couple of hours. I go up to the Aurora Center, which is part of the VA over in West Haven, to process people into the system as well.
What's the prerequisite to get benefits from the soldiers, sailor, Marines?
Well, it's all based on financial means. It's financial means and needs. The first thing, we do have a income limitation, which we have marked up. If somebody wants to look it up, the federal poverty level is 300%. 300% markup is what we have. Then from there, it's they really have to show us their actual need for the type of assistance that they're seeking. If it's 1 month's rent, if they need help with 1 month's worth of utilities, if they're hurting with dental care because they're not eligible with the VA for dental care, we can help them with clothing, we can help them with food. We can also help them with fuel assistance, and the type of fuel assistance could be, for oil heat, it could be gas heat, it could be cord of wood, it could be pellets, because there's all different ways people heat up. So we offer that assistance too, to keep them warm and comfortable.
Well, if for all the veterans out there who are watching, if you find yourself in need of these services, please go out and locate the local soldiers, sailor, Marines. I know you can get that information right at the local town halls or even the American Legion.
Inside the town halls, or if you have the internet, look up Soldiers, Sailors, Marine Fund or SSMF CT, and it'll bring you in, because we have approximately 150, 160 volunteers throughout the state, and we have 5 field offices throughout the sate. So.
It's unfortunately, all these shows just go by like this.
It was a pleasure.
We're already at the closing of this show. Just a closing remark. If for those veterans out there that have a desire to join the American Legion, please go out and look up your local Legion posts. They're everywhere. There's Legion posts to satisfy all your needs. It's like I said, these shows go by so fast. We can just keep talking. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. We hope that you found today's show very informative. I'd like to thank a special thank you to Jim for being here.
Thank you, Chuck.
Great to finally have you here.
Thank you, Chuck.
Also a special thanks to our sponsors, the American Legion Post 209 in Forestville, the Fisher House of Connecticut, and the Bristol Blues, which is a baseball team over in Bristol. And a special thanks to a group that we don't normally get a chance to say thank you that much, and that's the crew of the Veterans Corner. A special thanks to all of you, because without you, this show certainly couldn't be possible. And at this time, I guess we'll have to close down, and want to thank all the viewers for watching, and we'll see you the next time on the Veterans Corner. Thank you very much.